Greetings. Our Frederick Riddle here with another episode of Christian News and Views. And this is episode 206, and this is Monday. So let's get started. In today's article, I'm reading, it's about, it's about the meeting that President Trump of the United States and President Putin of Russia planning on meeting this coming Friday. So um, let's get started. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky warned that Russia must not receive any rewards for its ongoing military assault on his country ahead of the Trump-Putin summit in Alaska on Friday, August 15th. Trump and Putin are set to meet to discuss a possible peace deal that ends Moscow's ongoing invasion of Ukraine, which may include a settlement over territory. But Ukraine's European allies fear Trump will consent to Russia keeping the Ukrainian land it has seized during the invasion, something Kiev has made clear it cannot tolerate. Russia is dragging out the war and therefore it deserves stronger global pressure, Zelensky said in a post on X on Monday morning after more engagements between Russia and Ukrainian forces on the front line. Russia refuses to stop the killings and therefore must not receive any rewards or benefits. And this is not just a moral position, it is a rational one. Concessions do not persuade a killer, but truly strong protection of life stops the killers. This was Zelensky's comments. And they come as Ukraine's allies up the diplomatic pressure ahead of Friday's talks. European leaders are seeking to speak with Trump before the meeting, according to Bloomberg, with the bloc's foreign ministers due to hold a virtual meeting on Monday. That's today. NATO chief Mark Rutte, R-U-T-T-E, said on Sunday that the meeting will be a test for the Kremlin leader, but Ukraine must be involved in any peace efforts if the summit succeeds. This was echoed by Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who said on Monday that Russia cannot emerge from the talks strengthened, and that when great powers make decisions about other countries without their participation, it ends badly. The Polish leader said that the United States would coordinate with its European partners before the summit, about which he holds lots of fears and lots of hope, as he referred to Trump's unpredictability at times. Trump has told European leaders and Zelensky that Putin is open to negotiations if land swaps are part of the deal. It has been reported. Ukraine's presidential office has said that Moscow seeks Kiev's full withdrawal from partially occupied Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast, while offering to withdraw its forces parts of the Sumy and Kharkiv Oblast, the Kiev Independent has reported, adding that Ukraine would reject such a proposal. But Tusk said it was absolutely crucial that Russia understands that the West, including European states, will not accept Russian terms that would amount simply to seizing Ukrainian territory. So that's the article, and the thing is here that they still refer to the unpredictability of Trump. There are some areas in where he is unpredictable, and this may be one of them. Trump is holding his cards very close to his chest, doesn't let anybody peek. And so sometimes it's hard to understand what he's trying to do. It appears to me that he is trying to get Putin to the table. I don't think he really expects to make a treaty just with Putin. I think he understands he needs Zelensky. He needs probably needs the European countries, NATO, the European Union, that the whole thing. For there to be a real peace, it's got to have more than just United States and Russia. It only lasts as long as one of those two are in power, and Trump has a limited time in power. Putin, we don't know how long he'll stay. It depends upon how long the Russian people put up with him. Uh, so it only lasts as long as those two last. And so I approach this with a lot of caution. I support President Trump on most of the actions he's taken since he's been president, and most likely most of the actions he'll be taking going forth. But if he is thinking about the United States and Russia making a de facto agreement, then I don't support him in that. I agree with the I think it was the Polish president that said such kinds of agreements don't work out well. They turn out badly. History's dump site, you could say, is filled with examples of that. The argument that Ukraine was once a part of Russia, which is an argument that Russia uses, is a rather foolish one. That's akin to saying the United States was once a part of the British Empire. Does that give Britain any rights over us? Of course not. Countries move from under one force to another, but it's a part of history. But it doesn't give anybody any rights. Canada, there was parts of Canada that were once part of the United States, and they seized them and kept. And in the War of 1812, I believe there was some U.S. territory lost. The United States tried to take some, and so that's the game, the rise and fall of battles between nations. The idea of a land swap doesn't strike me as well either. Trump, or rather, not Trump, Putin, his forces have been moving and slowly and gaining land and even gaining control of different communities. But that's not because they are such a strong force. More of it has been from the United States. Not when we were under Biden. Biden gave a lot of vocal support to Ukraine, but I still believe to this very day that he slow walked all his support. So weapons got to Ukraine late, and so then Ukraine had to extricate itself from a situation that had developed because they didn't have those weapons, and then try to regain the land. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. So now the United States is back to supporting them again. And Trump has promised to deliver them a lot faster than Biden did. But the thing is, Putin is playing a very, very dangerous stratagem. And he is pushing the United States and in some cases refusing to buckle under, so to speak, what Trump is telling him. And there's going to come a time when Trump is going to have to put his foot down and say, enough is enough. Perhaps this Friday is the time to do that. Will it lead to a war? I don't think so. Putin may not understand the full extent of his country's dwindling military, but I think he gets at least enough of it to know that if he was to go to war with the European Union and the Russia and the United States was not to be a part of that war at all, he would still lose. They would defeat him, and probably quickly. And so I think if he may not know that, may not understand that, but if he's got his eyes open and he's at least paying attention a little bit, he should have some idea that that would be the outcome. So this meeting between Trump and Russia, meeting alone without the Zelensky there and others, was dangerous. However, if Trump does meet with the European leaders and makes commitments to them about where he's going to stand, and things like this, then maybe it's an opportunity. A lot of times, crisis leads to there's an old Chinese word, and it implies that danger, crisis is not only dangerous, but it's also opportunistic. It's an opportunity uh, to make a positive out of it, what looks like it could be a negative. So just let's remember, Ukraine is the innocent party here. Russia is the one who invaded them initially. Russia is the one committing atrocities like killing indiscriminately women, children, and the unborn. It is Russia that is bombing hospitals, churches, schools, and more. My hope is that Trump will push Putin to the negotiating table and that Putin will stop all aggressive behavior immediately. No more delays. Well, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and perhaps you have a comment you would like to make on it. I encourage you to leave a comment, whether you do or not. I hope also, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to my channel. It is growing, and that's always encouraging to me. And so I just encourage you to continue to support this with your viewing. And if again, I'm open to your comments, pro or con, and maybe it might stir a discussion that will end up right here in one of these episodes. Well, that's it for today, and I hope to see you in the next episode. You have a great day.